Hi, this is a lesson about factors, multiples and prime factors, which is a year 9 topic. But however, this later on will be used, it could be used in year 10 and 11 as well. Do that in the second lesson following this one. So what are the factors, multiples and prime factors? Factors of a number is all the numbers that a number divides to. Okay? One of the numbers, for example, if you choose a number 12, what are the factors? So how many numbers can you divide 12 to? Obviously, you can always divide 12 by 1. We can always divide 12 by 2. We can divide it by 3, and also 4, and 6, and last one is 12. So all the numbers that you can divide the number to are the factors of that number. 12 can be divided by 1. It can also be divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. You can divide it by 6 as well too. And at the last one is itself. Now, one of the things we notice here is that any factor of any number always start with number 1 and finish up with itself. Okay? If they ask you how many factors are in number 12, well, the answer will be there are how many factors? 6. 6 factors. Alright? Or they say, is 6 a factor in number 12? You would say yes, because you can divide 12 by 6. Okay? Then we move on to multiples of a number. Obviously, multiples of a number is the multiplication of a number. So if I choose, what are the multiples of 11? Then normally I ask for the first 5, but multiples of 11, obviously 1 times 11 is 1. What is it? 2 times 11? 22. And then 3 times 11? 33. These are multiples of 11. And you can do 4 times 11? 44. So, and I'll go on, right? So multiples of 11 I can write is, of course, 11 itself. 1 times 11, 2 times 11, 3 times 11, 4 times 11, and it goes on. They normally ask you how many multiples they want you to answer. If there's a first 5, then you write the first 5. Okay? So multiples of a number should not present you with any difficulties. Okay? Then we move on about prime factors, prime numbers first, because we want to do the prime factors. What are the prime numbers? The definition for the prime numbers are the numbers that can only be divided by 1 and themselves. Okay? So these ones, for example, number 2, start with number 2. And 2 can only be divided by 1 and 2, and then 3. Then you got 5, 7, and then you got 11, 13, 17, 19, and then you go to 23 and you go on. Okay? So another way of describing a prime number is that the prime numbers have a factors of 1 and in themselves, right? You can only divide them by 1 and themselves. Right? Alright. Prime numbers obviously are used quite a lot in mathematics. Alright? These are the numbers that are used. Remember the irrational numbers. If you put a square root of 2, a square root of 3, or a square root of 5, they all become irrational numbers as well. But as far as you're concerned, you have to know the prime number is a number that can only be divided by itself, and 1 obviously. And that makes a prime number. For example, if you look at number 13, can we divide 13 to any other number by itself? No, we can only divide it by 13. And therefore, because we can only divide it by 13 and number 1, therefore that's a prime number. Of course, one of the questions that comes up a lot when you teach is that, what about number 1? Why didn't we include number 1 in there? But number one is that by definition can only divide it by itself. Right? And we just, for the ease of mathematics, initially number one was part of the prime numbers, but as far as you're concerned, they've decided that we exclude number one in this list. All right, from this list, we exclude number one. So number one is not a prime number. This is a list of prime numbers. All right. So if they ask you factors of a number, multiples of a number, and if these numbers are is a prime number, we should be able to answer these questions. Now we come to the most important part of these types of factors, multiples and prime factors, is these factors, prime factors. Now if you have a number and they ask, can you find the prime factors, then you have to see if any of these things are the factor in a number, okay? And you make it like a 3. If I have 18, okay, and I want to find the prime factors of 18, you have to, very importantly, to start dividing by the lowest prime number. Can I divide 18 by 2? Yes, I can. Right? So what you're going to write here, actually I should have put into this side. So I write the factor that I can divide and I write 9 here. Okay? So you always write the first and lowest prime number. Okay? Then I go to number 9. Can I divide number 9 by 2? No, but I can divide it by 3. So I'll make it 3 here and I end up with number 3. And if you notice, I'm going to circle all the prime numbers that I get. Okay? So we always end up is, that's a 3 of prime factors. Okay? We start with the lowest number always. If we can divide it by 2, we go ahead. If we can't divide it by 2, we go to number 3. If you can't divide by number 3, we go forward number 5 and 7 and on. So the 18 could be divided by 2, the answer is 9. Can we divide number 9 by 2? No, but we can divide it by 3 and 3. So we can write 18 has a prime factors of 2 times 3 times 3. Okay? Very important because this will come in your exams a lot. And I've got another number for you. How about number 54? I'll do my 3. Shall I go with the first one? Can I divide number 54 by 2? Yes, I can. If I divide 54 by 2, I'm going to get 27, right? Then I'm going to start number 27 now. Can I divide 27 by 2? No, but I can't divide it by 3. I'll go to the next one up, 3. And if I divide 27 by 2, I get 9. And I do the same thing again. Can I divide 9 by 2? No, but I can't divide it by 3. So I'm going to go 3 and 3. And as you can see, I'm circling all my prime numbers. So in fact, I can write 54 having prime factors of 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay? And like that, you can show all the prime factors of any number you got. Very important to finish it and write the equation that you got 2 and 3 threes and write. One more important thing here is that sometimes they ask you to write it in an index form. Okay? If they ask you to write in index form means that we had 54 equals 2 times 3 times 3 times 3, and now we can write 54 in an index format. We can write it at 3 to the power of 3 because we have 3 threes. And that's the index form. Okay. All right. So we just cap on what we've learned today. These factors, multiples, and prime factors are very important, And the questions obviously will come in year 9, but also could well come in year 10 and 11 as well. Okay? We talk about factors of a number. All the numbers that a number can be divided to. Because a number like 12 can be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So we list the factors of number 12. If they ask you what are the multiples of a number 11, the first 5 for example, the first 5 multiples will be 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, and this is what numbers multiply 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Okay? So if multiples of any number you should be able to do. And then in order to understand what are the prime factors of a number, first obviously we have to know what are the prime numbers themselves anyway. The definition for prime numbers is that a number that can only be divided by itself is a prime number. Of course, any number can be divided by 1. So we know that, for example, 11 can be only divided by 11 only, right? When 1. So that's a prime number. Having understood what prime numbers are, the most important one is this prime factors of a number. So this is the list of prime factors. You got your prime numbers, right? When you have a number and you want to find the prime factors of a number, you have to make this tree diagram. You start, and this is a key, some students always go with the higher numbers, right? Because you have to start with the lowest possible factor, please. If you don't do that, then you give the wrong answer. So we have to start with the lowest prime factor. Lowest prime factor is always to see if your number can be divided by 2. In this case, 54 can be divided by 2, we get 27. Then you start again. Can we divide the number by 2? No, we can't. But next one up, can be divided by 3. If we can't, we can go to can be divided by 5. But in this case, 27 can be divided by 3. And again, we do the same procedures again. 9, can 9 be divided by 2? No, but it can be divided by 3, and the remainder is 3. And then so we can always finish the job by writing what is 54 is 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay? And that's the prime factors of number 54. However, we said that sometimes they might ask you to write it in index form. Okay? Index format is that you can write this. How many 3s have you got? 3 times 3 times 3 can be also written as 2 times 3 cubed. Okay, that's all it is. I hope this lesson was helpful for you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next lesson.